for today. Now, for today, I need you to go to your Google Classroom or your template, and there are 2 pages that you're going to want to access before you get started today. So there are times in this lesson where you are going to need to pause and do some work and then come back, and then you can do more. So on your template, there are 2 pages. One of them is looking like this. It is a bunch of triangles. You're going to want to find that page, and you're also going to want to find the page that looks like this, where you are cutting circles. Now, on both of those pages, if you have a printer at home, I'm going to ask that you print those out. If you do not have a printer at home, I'm going to ask that you take a piece of paper and put it up to the screen and see if you can trace these shapes and then cut them out and have them ready for your activities today. So find both of those pages, pause this video, go cut out all of those shapes. When you're done, come back and we will go ahead and get to work. All right, guys. So now that you have all of your shapes cut out, you are going to want to go to your math book, and you're going to want to turn to the page that looks just like this for lesson 8.5. It's on page 167. So if you need to pause the video again so you can get that open, go right ahead. You're going to want your shapes that you've just cut out, and you're going to want to be on page 167, lesson 8.5. All right, so these are shape challenges. What I'd like for you to try and do is take your triangles, not the circles right now, just the triangles, and you're going to want to try to fit them into your shape right here, this rectangular shape. You're going to want to see how many triangles would it take for me to fill in on this shape right here. You can even glue them in. Then you're going to try and do this triangle. I'm going to take those little triangles that I've cut out, and I'm going to try and see if I can fit them in. How many triangles will it take to fill in this triangle? When you're finished with that one, you get to turn the page. We have 2 more shapes that you're going to try and fit triangles into. We have this trapezoid and this rhombus, and you're going to try and see how can I move my shapes around so that they fit into these shapes on our page. At this time, I'm going to ask you to pause the video again, work on that. When you're done with all 4 of these shapes on page 167 and 168, then you may come back and unpause your video again. All right, is everyone ready to check and see how they did on their page? How did you move your shapes around? All right, these are the answers. This is what I could do for my rectangle. I could put 1, 2, 3, 4 smaller triangles into this larger rectangle to make them fit. And I would arrange them in this way. Looking down here at this triangle, again, I can put 1 here, 2, 3, and 4. Looking at this trapezoid, this is how I would arrange my triangles to fit. And then here is the rhombus. It's almost like a kite. Doesn't it look kind of like a kite? I would put 4 triangles in to fit into this rhombus. It's fun to try and arrange shapes into new shapes and make new things, which is going to be one of our challenges today. So after you do your math boxes today, which I will explain in just a minute, you are going to get to take all those circles and your triangles and create new things. and I'll explain that in a little while. Now, before we go any further, let's take a look at our math boxes for today. I'm going to give you all the directions so you can do this when you're ready. This is on page 169. All right, so on number 1, you are going to write down what is a defining attribute of a square. Do you remember what defining attribute means? That means it is something a square must have. Doesn't mean it has to be blue or large or thin or fat. What is something a square must have? That is what a defining attribute is. Number 2, you are going to divide this circle in half. So you're going to take a line and cut it in a direction where you will see 2 equal parts. 2 equal parts on this circle. Then you're going to color in 1/2, one of those equal parts. Number 3, these are all subtraction problems, I can tell because I see the minus sign. You are going to solve these. Number 4, you're going to want to find your number grid, and you're going to want to add these problems together. Number 5, you are going to again use your subtraction, and you're going to fill in the missing number. Finally, for number 6, well, we have one of these function machines again. They're giving us the rule. Sometimes they're giving us the in number, but not always. They've given us all of the out numbers. So to solve this in number, who remembers what you might need to do? You might need to do the opposite of the rule to find out what you began with. So when you are looking at the in number and trying to find that missing number, you often need to do the opposite of what the rule is asking you to do to solve this. When you're done, you can go ahead and show your parents and they can see how you did and if you need to work on anything. All right, so moving on, we have all these shapes, right? You've cut out shapes from this page and this page. Now you're going to create something called a composite shape. That is where you take 2 things, or 3 or 4, and you create a new shape, and we call that a composite shape. If you look here, you can see some different ones that people have made. Look at what they've done. They have a triangle and a half circle. They taped them together to make this new shape. Here, they took a triangle and 1/4 of a circle. Another way of saying 1/4 is 1/4, and they glued that together to make this new shape. Here, they took a half circle and a 1/4 of a circle or a quarter circle, glued them together to make that shape. What I'm going to ask for you to do is be creative today. You get to take all of these triangles and circles that are cut in half or cut into fourths, all of those equal parts, and create these new composite shapes. See how many you can make. See how creative you can be. How many shapes can I put together to make something really interesting? Maybe my shapes can actually look like something, like an ice cream cone or a house or a playground. Who knows what you can create with all of these shapes? I would love it if you could send pictures to your teacher and myself of some of the cool things that you created. Do you have to do that? No, you do not. But if you'd like to, we would love to see what kinds of things that you're coming up with and creating. So do your math boxes and use your creativity to try and put together some cool composite shapes. All right, guys, that's our lesson for today. I hope you had a great time and get creative. See you next time.